Same
rolling.
So
I think it's
Are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Oh, we're just looking up. We're looking up some shit here.
I think it's on the 22nd, the
found
Sunday.
it.
Nothing.
Found it here. Charity bench press event.
The Sunday?
Sunday, October 22nd. Who the fuck puts a charity bench press event on the day of record breakers in Manitoba? We're bringing the biggest strength event this province ever seen in our eyes.
That goddamn MPA.
To be alive if you can't do that.
I'm usually the guy that defends him because I'm like, you know what, guys, it's all about inclusivity in my life. I am very on the inclusive train.
You're the most inclusive
You guys
guy
know I'm very left wing with my inclusivity, and I do defend MPA, but to put a freaking thing when we announced nationals 6 months ago,
He announced it a long
and you
time
put
ago.
it the same day.
A long time ago. God bless the MPA.
Now I'm on the Tyler Sigerson. Fuck those guys. Train.
Well, it's frustrating where it's like, hey, we just said last episode, let's make sure that everybody supports this thing, everybody goes to it, everybody.
And that was my big initiative.
The strongman people especially. Make sure you're going to it, and then we can't.
So all the strongman guys, I need you to boycott that shit because we need you at nationals.
Strongman guys, do not go to that show.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I'm going. I'm missing record breakers.
Dan's going to bench like a mother that day.
Yeah.
Do not go to bench like a mother.
Don't. There's no point.
Our show instead.
There's no point not getting a record at both places in the same day.
Exactly.
Fuck, that's poor timing. Anyway.
7 a.m. too. I just checked. That's the
really?
7 a.m.
That's mother time. That's mom's.
Holy
that's
shit,
what moms do. They're benching. That's not when Dad's doing it.
Tyler's still wiping the cum out of his eyes at 7 in the morning.
That's not what Papa's benching. Here we are, Strong and Petty, episode 31 in the Whiskey Tango studios here in beautiful St. Vital, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, North America.
Special guest?
Mario.
Is it Mario or Mario?
I don't know.
How do you
is
say
it Gross?
Mario?
It's not Gross. We know
so
that
then
for
is
a
it
fact.
Mario or Mario?
It's not Mario. That's
look it up.
Why do you keep fucking changing it every time? Fuck.
Potato.
We have the BFD, Dan Cadger, for my money, when we'll find out in a couple weeks, but one of Canada's top amateur strongmen. Replacing Dave Beakley, who we don't know why, but he's not here. So we'll leave it at that, I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, mystery man.
I think he had a hangnail.
Yeah, he couldn't be here. He's upstairs right now. He's just crying. So we're here with Dan. We've mentioned him many times on this podcast. We talked about it. He's a guy who's been pretty closely connected to me this whole season. We've been competing a lot together and traveling a lot together and doing a lot of stuff. Getting very close.
What kind of stuff you guys do?
Lots of stuff.
My dear friend Tyler.
Yeah.
We do lots of stuff together.
Sometimes we sleep in the same room. Sometimes we don't sleep in the same rooms, but we are in the same room.
Each take one hose from the CPAP. And
Absolutely. Yeah. we connect the hose to each other's face.
Synchronized breathing.
We just breathe back and forth.
We just turn the machine off and then just breathe back and forth into each other's mouths. That's foul.
Wow.
So, just for anybody who's kind of like uninitiated, I think that pretty much everybody who listens to this would be familiar with you in some capacity, whether it's
I don't know,
just hearing about us talking about you, or probably more likely met you at competitions and stuff. This is your second year competing. That's correct.
Correct.
Second year.
Yeah.
You've been Iron Age through and through the whole time there, working with me and working with the team.
Yep.
And this has been your first year. Like, so last year was your first year to the point where it was like your amateur show year. Like, you had your first rookie show, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay, we did that in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
Saskatoon?
Yeah.
We all went out there and did that, and that was awesome. And now it's...
Was that your first show, Saskatoon?
Yeah.
Yeah. And a year
we were all
later...
out there for that. Yep.
You were there too. That's right, because you had people out there too.
Had bunch of them, yeah.
A year later...
Lost them all after that, but yep, had them all there.
Yeah.
Well, that's the show's fault. The competition's fault.
I'm going to say
it's their job to retain competitors, and they didn't do it. So,
let's blame it on that.
It's definitely not the coach.
No.
I gained a lane from that show and lost the other two.
Who were the others?
Chantel and Dave.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So
but then I gained lane. Yeah.
But you got lane.
Which was the size of both of them.
There you go. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Gained a loaf.
Yeah.
Lane the loaf.
Lane the loaf, which is quickly becoming my favorite strongman.
He gives
name,
Wonder Head a bread.
I like somebody who can have a little bit of a sense of humor about themselves with stuff like that.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
much better
If
than
you look at the guy, he has to.
calling yourself like the fucking Terminator badass or whatever the fuck your name is.
Well, why are you giving away my nickname?
Big fornicating Dan.
So last year was your first one with the novice show, and now this year already, 1 year later, which I think is you and Kelsey would be two people that I would put on the same sort of trajectory of like just really blowing shit out of the water. You're doing pro shows. You're being invited as an amateur to pro shows.
Yep.
You did Western Canada's Strongest Man this year, which I don't think a lot of people do in their second year around. I sure didn't. And now we're leading up to amateur nationals, which is, I mean, I think I speak for you as your coach, which is we're looking for a podium finish at that one
Definitely.
to hopefully get them on the circuit. They just made a beautiful new circuit website, circuitomfort.ca.
Is it in English?
You definitely said that correct.
Yeah, it is in English. Yeah, it's an English. It's an English site. The website URL is French, but the rest of it's English, and they have that up there with all their purchasables and athlete profiles and stuff. So make sure you check that out. It's pretty cool.
You've been to Quebec doing the shows. Have you ever done a Viking out there? Viking press.
Viking press.
So I've seen Dave Nolay and his lady with the massive traps. Still impressed the shit out of me.
Jocelyn. I
Yeah.
think her name is.
Yeah.
I think so.
They were Viking press on the weekend, and it's an identical Viking press to mine.
Really?
With the same logos, the Pulse, the Canadian, and I caught it in the video and I messaged her. I'm like, that is, you guys are literally identical implement as mine. I didn't know how many were produced. I thought it was just a Manitoba thing.
I thought that they were made for that guy in for that guy in Manitoba.
But I've seen it in the video, and it's the same Viking press.
Strongman stuff is so weird when it comes to that.
Yeah,
Like, it's just,
so I recognize it right away. So I messaged her. I'm like, well, now you know the exact way to what the implement is because here's the percentages. Like,
wow, that's great. Good luck,
Yeah.
lucky for them.
So that's pretty. I found it pretty cool.
Yeah, so we're looking at nationals for you for hopefully a podium finish, and we're getting you onto ideally the pro circuit. Like you're in the, like I've said before that you're in sort of that phase right now where you typically not typically, you all the time dominate the local shows like the CASA regionals, provincials, things like that.
CASA.
Oh fuck! Just
Wow.
dated myself
Wow.
there.
Get with the times, you old fuck.
Sorry, the strongman corps.
If he was in Cass, he would have been in the U80 category back then.
Yeah, well, actually, I want to talk about that a little bit too. But you,
Beating up Garrett for the top spot.
that would be a tremendous battle.
That'd be a
I would
battle.
love to see that.
I'm actually cutting for the U80.
For U80, yeah,
category
just
right
drop
now,
100 pounds for it.
Or you
Yeah.
just literally, because you'd have to cut your wrists and let everyone else. How emo we going for that? You're all wearing all black here, so I don't know how emo you're
I
going
don't
for that cut.
Yeah, trying to get you because you're in that phase, like I said, where you're really dominating a lot of the local shows, and then you go into the bigger guys shows, and you're not. I don't want to make it sound like you're not doing well there because you are, but you're trying to break into that. There's where the AMs are, and then there's where the pros are in the standings, and you're trying to kind of like crack that. I would say that's sort of where you find yourself now.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, I got my head stomped in all season long.
Right,
but,
and then,
it's how you get better.
That's how you get better, and that's the thing too is to take away from that is like I think a lot of people would get if they're in your position, they would get discouraged because it's hard to tell people. Like it's fun when you go to say Tolstoy, even though you're aware of it in your head that this isn't as big as say the Farm Strong show or Westerns.
Yeah.
But it's really fun to go and tell your friends, yeah, I got first place.
Well, of course it is.
Versus telling your friends, well, I got 9th or 7th or whatever it might have been. You know what I mean? Like where it's and then you have to be like, well, let me explain to you why that's different. And, they don't give a fuck, right? They just want to hear. They just want to hear how they don't care how or what is it? They don't care how. They just want to know how many, right?
Yeah.
So
First is first in their eyes.
right. So
Yeah,
when you
and I'm never gonna make that distinction. It's like, well, yeah, I got 8th at this one and first at this one. I'll let them figure that out themselves.
that's funny because I always make the distinction.
Oh,
I make sure it's very clear to people that that's what.
How many there are?
Well, I always say like because it's like it's when I did the Westerns last year, I was preparing in my head to be like, well, I got last, but like everyone was really good there. Like it's really different there, and luckily it didn't turn out that way.
People in the sport, no,
right?
People, so it's everybody is often more proud of you than you are of yourself, and more like, oh, that's amazing when there's level. Yeah, you beat the smaller guys, you beat the less experienced guys, but there's still levels.
And you don't want to tell them that though.
No,
where you're like, well, it's not really a big deal because it is a big deal. You're still winning.
To other people, it's amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, and even if you take your own kind of like ego and brain out of it for a second, like you're winning strength competitions, whatever the level might be and whatever the competition may be, is that you're showing up and you're doing well enough that you're beating.
Here's a prime example of that. I was at an arm wrestling competition this weekend. My nephew competed in Weststomach, and that SB was there. There's some big guys there, and that Jeff. Dabby Dobby from the States with, my goodness, man, the guy's
Jeff.
forearms and hands
Is
are
it Jeff
massive.
Dabe?
Dave?
Oh, I was thinking of Dobby the strongman. Sorry,
No,
my
Jeff.
bad.
This would be Jeff Dabe.
Yeah.
He was there. I shook his hand. There was no point.
No.
No, there was
His
nothing.
hand, like,
Holy
that's crazy.
shit, it's nuts. But anyways, he arm wrestled. He did really well. He won his category.
I would have loved to come watch that. I wrestled that day and I couldn't make it out.
Oh,
but
it was
wanted,
great.
I
I
really
really
wanted to go.
Bushi entered.
Did he?
He wasn't going to enter. He's in the crowd, and he's like, I can still enter. And I'm like, so I'm bugging him. Like, why don't you just enter? Well, I still can. The sign-up's still open because they were doing the amateurs.
They just take guys from the crowd, eh?
Yeah, and
That's
I'm
cool.
like,
I
just
like that.
Shit,
go in there and enter. And he ended up placing. He just missed third place.
That's
And-
ballsy. That's
Yeah.
really, it's really
Damn.
ballsy to
Yeah.
walk in and do something like that. 'Cause
Yeah.
and he hadn't trained in 4 months. So
Yeah.
so this Jeff walks by and I shake his hand. I'm like, hey, you know, love watched you. I've watched him on YouTube for years and this and that. And my mom and dad are there. And my mom's one that's always just super proud of anything, any accomplishment any of her kids does, just like any mom does.
Mm-hmm.
And mom's like, Devin, does he know that you won Manitoba Strongest Man last year? I'm like, no, Mom, he doesn't. He doesn't give a shit. and she's like, I'm gonna go tell him. And my dad's like, Carol, sit down. Like, and I'm like, Mom, no, you're sitting in your seat. She's like, well, I'm like, no, like it's a big deal for you, but it's not a big deal for this guy. Like, I'm like, don't, for one, don't embarrass me. Two, but it's just, I was saying, like, going back to everybody else thinks you're are super proud of anything you've done if you've won a first place, right? Because to them, that's a huge deal.
But I think too that we can be
Yeah.
guilty of downplaying
Yeah.
our own accomplishments like that too.
Well,
I'm 100% guilty of that for sure.
Where I get that way too. Where if someone's like, oh yeah, like he won like Manitoba Strongest Man this year, I'll be like, yeah, let's talk about something. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
I'm not good at this. Like I know that everyone thinks that I have a big ego and like I like that stuff, whatever. But I really
You do.
I get
You
weirded
do.
out by it. I really
Yeah.
I get weirded out. I like to do it myself.
You mean you get weirded out when
I
people
like-
talk to you about it?
I like to exactly. I like to talk myself up.
Yeah.
I don't like when other people do it because then I can't control the narrative. That's important too. But you know it's really easy to forget that where it's like because I also tend to do the same thing too where it's like well you know if Tristan had been there he would have beaten me or if Jeffers would have been there he would have beaten me but that's not what the competition was. That's not what you know what I mean. So you gotta take your W's where you get them and stuff. And,
I'm the same way. If you don't
Yeah.
win
Yeah.
the top comp in the top world,
Right,
then,
yeah,
then
exactly.
are you really the best?
There's always somebody better, and it's like, well, that's not the point, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's you take pride in what you got because this is a fleeting thing that we can do here, the strongman stuff. So really, you got to enjoy it while you can. So that's where, it's nice that you can have like the SCC shows where you can show, hey, I'm really fucking good at this, and then you can have the circuit shows where you can be like, hey, I'm getting better at this by doing these shows.
Yeah.
Whether
yeah,
it's
for sure.
whether it's Westerns or Farm Strong or the SCC Pro-Am we did or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's always the cop-out is like, I mean, I'm still an amateur. These guys are all pros.
Right.
So it is there.
Right, yeah.
It's easy to make the distinction
yeah,
when
yeah.
I need to. So
Well, that's
It's,
the ultimate thing you tell somebody is that like, well, everybody who beat me was a pro.
Yeah,
And they'll be like,
yeah.
well, I don't know what that means, but that must mean something. You
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah.
it must be a big fucking deal, I guess.
they must be really good athletes.
Their response, oh shit, they're not good enough to be a pro.
But it's yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I meant.
Well, why are you so shitty?
But
Yeah.
it's nice though too because like guys like with me as like the coach when I'm getting a message from somebody being like for Farm Strong like Colton messaged me was like would Dan want to come do this show?
Yeah.
Like it's good. It's good to know that you're, and it has to do with the fact that you compete so much. But you're on people's mind when it comes to these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when someone needs a spot filled or whatever, and say that the pros have said their piece or whatever, and like, well, we got spots for AMs. Like, it's probably 5 guys in Western Canada that would jump right to somebody's mind, and I think that you're pretty firmly entrenched in that list. So now it's just a matter of getting that next step up. Right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
how do you feel about nationals going into it?
I feel really good. I mean, I feel really strong right now. I mean, we're at that point in prep where I'm feeling it. But
At that point in the season,
yeah, that
Like,
too.
this has
Like,
been,
it's,
like,
it's been a long season.
how many comps have you done this season?
Well, nationals will be 9. So
9. That's more than some people do in a couple of years. You know what I mean? Like that's
well, they should probably work harder.
yeah, I mean they shouldn't be doing that many in a couple
Yeah.
of years, but but that's realistically that's
That's
some people
Is
would
this year
do.
9th show this year?
Yes.
Yeah,
Which ones have you done?
I'm not listing them all.
let's list them all right now.
Yeah, what the
fuck?
Tolstoy.
Yeah, Tolstoy. Was that the first one?
That
Farm
was the first
Strong,
one. Farm Strong.
Tolstoy, Morris.
Vita.
Do you do Vita?
No,
Vita.
you didn't.
No, I didn't do
because you
Vita.
did Western.
Yeah, Westerns. I think it's 9. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I'm pretty sure it is 9. You did the Highland Games. right?
Highland Games,
Yeah.
Manitoba
Provincials.
Strongest Man, Provincials,
Yeah.
Magnus.
Magnus,
And then this
the
will be
Nationals.
Nationals.
Yeah,
There
sure.
we go, ladies and gentlemen. Dan
Yeah,
Cadger,
look at that.
counting to 9.
Barely. That was very hard for me.
Yeah.
But no,
I
but
see
and
the
then,
steam coming out of that thing. The hard thing is all of a sudden, It's one.
Yeah.
We all
Yeah.
We're all the same.
we
Yeah.
worked
It
together
took
to come
3
up
of
with
us to
9.
fucking get there.
We were
so
we were all at all the shows.
yeah.
Figure it out.
Cavemen counting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were the most competing athlete in Manitoba.
Yeah.
You and Michelle were the
Yeah.
men and the women. Although I think that she actually might have beaten you out because she did
powerlifting too.
she does powerlifting.
Yeah.
Michelle's a bit of a competing maniac. She goes pretty
a little
wild
bit,
with
a little bit, yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah, she'll go week after week after week in terms of competition. So.
And I'll tell you right now, I'm not gonna do that.
No, that's not.
9 is enough.
9 feels like
for
a lot.
me,
I'm sure
yeah.
9's enough.
Maybe 10.
Yeah, double digits is cool. Double digits is
9
cool.
is a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you count record breakers as a separate one? Then we get 10?
I'm not doing record breakers.
We'll see. Maybe he will. We'll see.
How am I? I can't just jump into record breakers.
Sure you can.
For what? Bag toss? I'm terrible.
You're
at
talking
that.
to the organizers right here, baby. We can make whatever we
You
want
know how
happen.
many people haven't paid for their
Yeah.
fucking record breakers yet?
Yeah,
If
I'll
we
hop
go
in
according
on.
to the deadline we set for money, we got 3 people.
Yeah.
Not quite, but there's not even half of them that paid in time.
People need to get to step in with
Yeah.
that because
Yeah.
we're spending
But the
money,
food,
we're spending money faster than we can
I'll
get
tell
it.
you what, the food, that cut off on Wednesday, and I haven't received many food.
So, okay, so
orders.
that's on
shit,
Wednesday.
yeah.
So then today, this comes out on Tuesday. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, "Ooh, I would love my beautiful wife or my beautiful husband or my coach or anybody else to join me for my meal and my moment of receiving my trophy," you should really consider getting that extra what do you call it, banquet ticket, because they're going to be cut off. Because we're ordering food and that's going to be it.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, there you go. See?
Pat was just, hey, did you mark me down for the meal? I'm like, yeah, once you fucking eat transfer, Pat. You're a farmer and I know you have money, you
Listen,
piece
you
of shit.
rich fucking farmer, you
Yeah.
like.
He's like, okay, I'll send you the money,
These
okay?
goddamn farmers.
God damn
They
you,
just
Pat.
operate under the assumption that we don't know they have a shitload of money.
Their life's like their farm. We just put it all in the storage bin and use it when we need it.
Yeah.
No, that's not the way it works.
Pat.
Freaking Pat.
So
Can't trust people that short.
Some of those things just go right over him.
Dan's the shortest person that I trust.
How tall are you? 5'9"?
10.
You guys are the same height.
I'm 5'10" and a half.
No, you're fucking not. No, you're fucking not.
The last one I measured, 5'10".
You're a fucking liar is what
No,
you are.
it's, it's called what it is. Every half inch matters.
So,
Okay.
You got a tape measure in the old vehicle.
No, you don't.
Oh, yeah, I do.
What are you measuring while you drive?
Houses.
you just checking to make sure it's still there.
Yeah.
Houses.
We had a question that I wanted to touch on a little bit for young Daniel here.
Oh no.
Actually, we got a few questions here. Okay, so one of the ones that we touched on we joked about for a moment there was the 80 kg thing. But in all seriousness, last year you competed in a 105 competition, 105 Western Canada Strongest Man.
I did.
This year you competed. What was your heaviest you competed as this year?
I went into Farm Strong. This after a carb load, but I was like 290.
290. So considerably heavier.
Considerably
than
heavier.
The 231 cutoff for.
I could probably water cut to 230.
maybe
Probably 290.
Just pisses on a pool.
Did you?
It's a hell of a water cut there.
Okay, so you did a, but I mean you weren't as heavy.
No.
As so let's say you did 290 after your carb load. You were probably realistically 285, 283, something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you did your cut to 105, what were you sitting at?
I think I started the water cut at 248 in that area.
So realistically, you put on let's say almost 40 pounds.
Yeah.
During the competitive season, or in between one competitive season to the next.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, everyone wants to know because it's always a secret no one can figure out. What did you do to gain weight, Dan?
Well, everyone, I ate food.
Call bullshit.
I know, and myself included, we want it to be more complicated than that. I want there to be a secret where it's like, but what kind of food? What was the specific one thing that you ate that made you put on 40 pounds in that short of time? But really, like your
4-inch girth farmer sausage.
yeah, that's the secret.
60-40 fat meat comparison.
If you were in a,
No chewing.
So you're like, you should see me eat a banana.
if you were in a room right now with 100 dudes, how many dicks would you choke on?
I know that joke. I tell people it all the time.
Someone just told it to me today.
Well, what did you say?
I said none.
I'm like, yeah, you're a damn pro.
And that's what he said. He says, "Oh, you got a lot of throat skills, do you?"
Wow.
Some little fucker in my gym got me with that today.
Shit.
Well, that's like.
Well, I'm going to keep that one in mind.
Does your mom know you're gay?
I know that one. That's been back all the way since high school for
Yeah,
that one.
it's like
High school.
Yeah.
That was a middle school one.
Wow, fucking not all. I was smarter than you. I moved
weirdos,
faster.
middle school.
What do you mean? You're older than me, and you didn't hear it till high school.
Anyway,
If anything.
so we because the joke was invented when I was in high school and you were in middle school.
Did they have jokes when you were in high school, Brett?
I went to a Mennonite high school. We didn't laugh.
Fair enough.
Just when you're being touched inappropriately? It's more of a giggle?
It was Catholic school.
Damn, I was really hoping I was gonna get you with that one today, D. That was like on my mind
No,
all
you
day.
son of a bitch. You always
Fucking
did.
hell.
Now I forget what we were talking about.
How do you gain weight?
Oh yeah, gaining
'Cause
weight. Yeah, someone
that's-
choking dicks.
Yeah.
So then, okay, so you put on a ton of weight for in between those two seasons.
Yeah.
What's the plus and minus of each? You think? What do you prefer? Light, heavy,
Heavy.
heavy. Just like to live, like to be around, like is better,
Yeah. It's just better. It's easier.
easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Is it?
Listen.
Is it easier being heavy?
Yeah.
Legit question, because you were how light when you were doing...
Like, I'm not that heavy.
Yes, you are.
I'm not even over 300 pounds.
That's
Yeah,
still
but-
pretty heavy.
Well, yes, that's.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, the thing is that we have this like relative, like the comparisons. Like when you look at say Kevin Caron or Ben Court, who are about the same height as Dan, but are like 330. Like they're
Yeah.
fucking
So
monsters.
that's
Yeah, I think-
10%.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. That's the upper threshold of guys that are that height.
Yeah. No, I should say when I was still doing construction, definitely lighter is easier.
Right.
Especially when
moving
it's
around all day.
40 degrees out.
Right.
Yeah.
But
What were you weighing then? Well, because you competed as a 230 last year at the...
Devin was looking at his phone when we were talking about this. I'm gonna narc on him
Okay,
right now.
yeah,
Devin was
yeah.
looking at his phone.
So-
we already talked about all this. and
yeah,
Devin
so
was
we
on his
just
phone.
went over this.
Sorry, I missed it. My daughter's texting me nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, we discussed that Devin. He
I
put-
missed it.
Oh, I'll catch you up.
Yeah.
He put on
Yeah.
about 40 pounds in between the two
Yeah,
two
but
seasons.
Yes, but what are you weighing now? You said you hit 300 with a carb load.
No,
But now
I
you're
didn't.
not-
I didn't say that
sorry,
either.
290? 290 with a carb load.
290.
So you're 280. Give
Yeah,
or
I'm
take.
280 right now.
Yeah, but you did the
275 to
you did the
280.
105 show last year before.
Yeah.
But you've also made a decision to slim down a little bit for nationals. Just a little bit, right?
Yeah, I hit 265, and then I'm like, It's also I weighed myself today, but I just had a shitload of Thanksgiving
Right.
dinner, so I'm heavy, but I'm between 270 275.
Is that about where you want to be?
Yeah, I like being there. Yeah, that's where I find I'm still. I mean, I'm not super fast, but move better, and conditioning's pretty good. So,
Good.
That's a good area for me.
What do you? Is there? I mean, I don't want to give away too much because I know there's a competitive edge to knowing a lot about your opponents and stuff. But is there anything that you're particularly like? This is going to be my fucking event at nationals.
I mean, deadlift and Viking press.
Yeah.
I think are gonna be good for me.
I think that, and maybe actually you might know. You might be able to correct me if I'm wrong here. But I would say that aside from Dan, aside from Dom, Dan might have put up the heaviest overhead in Manitoba. He did an overhead 365 barbell.
Yeah, so the same push press.
That's would a guy like Hildebrand or SB ever put up more than that? You think?
I'm sure we got Olympic lifters in this province who have done that.
I
Clean and press or clean and push and jerk? No, in
Do
the
we?
past.
Do we? I don't know. I think our Olympic lifting scene is sort of.
I'm just guessing. I don't know. I don't know what
I'll
SB
have
did.
to find out.
He was there this weekend. I didn't realize he was as big as he was. 6'4", 375.
Yeah, he's a
Holy
giant.
shit.
Yeah, he's huge.
I mean, we'll say push press because
Yeah.
that's cooler than split jerking.
yeah, it's a lot.
No, but
cooler.
are we saying
Yeah, I mean-
the most weight ever put overhead, or most weight put overhead in a certain lift at a certain?
Whatever,
certain
You know what I'm saying?
whatever it takes to make Dan the number one.
Yeah,
That's-
like,
Yeah.
that's
What-
what
we're doing powerlifting rules
Yeah.
here, so
Yeah.
we'll attach as many categories
Bert,
as we
look
need
up
to.
if there's any.
However, I
Look
can
on,
look the best. That's what we're going with.
There won't be anything. There won't be
At
anything
5'10", 270 pounds, who has done the most?
in my gym named Dan.
Because I saw on his Instagram, I did jiu-jitsu with him for a little bit. He was a wrestler. I saw a video of him put 380.
Who's that?
Finn McCager.
Well, he's from Manitoba.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, then we got some work to do, I guess.
And no, that's
And
Will.
he's like 230.
Will.
I'm sure.
Really?
Yeah.
I watched Will Husserwich do a 396 behind the neck press.
No way.
Walked to the gym McDole's, a 396 split jerk from behind the neck.
Well, no disrespect to Will, but I got to see some video of that
Yeah.
because that's fucking bonkers.
There won't be any video, but
That's
I walked
fucking-
in. He was a squat rack, and I asked him. I remember asking him, what have you eaten today? I had a protein shake for breakfast. And this is in the evening. That's just the way he was.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Well, I guess I'm sorry, Dan. I guess I was hyping
Well,
up for no reason
yeah.
there.
31 pounds off.
Fuck. Well,
I mean, the way things are moving.
There's no record on Google, anyways, for Manitoba's, but the world record is 542 pounds. So
I'm very
work
close
harder.
To that.
60% ain't bad.
Yeah, you're getting there.
What's yours at right now,
70?
Devin?
Right now, not much.
Yeah.
Not
You just
much.
got off that lettuce and water diet or
I'd
whatever
probably
you were
still
doing.
be able to match you in bench press, though.
Devin was detoxing. He was doing the.
I could probably walk
yeah.
in the gym and still bench 405 without training last year.
Well, we're not talking about fucking bench
well,
press.
no, we're just
Yeah.
saying, right? Where are you at right now? I mean, it's.
Well, I'm gonna get you where I can. Yeah.
Listen, 5'10" and not half. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the.
I'm retired, Dan. I'm retired.
Retired.
You're what? What
I
are
won
you?
last year. I beat all you guys.
He's
and,
retired.
retired, right?
He's
It's,
retired. He's
Yeah.
there, yeah.
And I was still an amateur.
Somehow.
I was still an amateur, you know?
So am I, you dumbass.
Listen, there's only one pro in Manitoba, and it's this fucking animal over here.
Do you get a card with that? We asked that one time, but I forgot.
A physical card?
Yeah.
No, but I do get a profile on the website now. So
You should ask for a card.
I will show people that. That'll be my.
You get them to send your card. I'll
Just gonna have
laminate
it
off
open
for you.
all the time.
You just carry it around.
If anybody else should claim to be a pro from Manitoba, I'll say, well, I didn't see you on the website. I don't see you there. Sorry. Once you're on the website, then I'll take you seriously. But
Is there just a pro website or only a Circuit Homes Pro?
circuit? So that's sort of the confusing part about like the idea of like pro status, whatever. Is that like it's like so if you're one of the lighter guys and you get like your SCC pro status, like that's cool and everything, but it doesn't really. You get that status, but until there's enough guys where there could be like an 80 kilogram pro show, you're just sort of stuck in limbo. You know what I mean? So it's
And it's only current active pros
yes
on the website.
yes
Yeah.
And if you want to be, I don't mean to rain on anybody's parade who's like the lighter guys or whatever, but if you want to be considered a pro in Manitoba or in Canada, excuse me, you really have to be in the open category because that's how you get onto the Canadian pro circuit.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So you get an SCC pro status, which I believe does carry over something into the States if you get like say your weight class stuff here.
Because they all have pro shows in the States.
Right,
Different
so
categories.
exactly. Yeah. So that matters to that. But in terms of like competing in Canada, that's why Dan last year he could have done the 120 category.
Yeah.
And Thrones did the math. He would have won.
Well, I trust his math. So
Yeah. And or he realistically even could have cut down to 105 for that competition.
Yeah.
But he recognized that if I want to be on the circuit, I have to compete in open. So that's what we did, and that's where we're at right now with that.
Yeah, and even if you won your pro status last year at Nationals at 120, you're only pro in that category the way it works with SCC.
Yeah, you don't.
So you can
Yeah,
go down to
and-
105 as an amateur, and you can go to open as an amateur.
Yeah.
You're only pro in that status.
Right.
Yeah.
They're in
So
the
and
class.
the 105s and the open are really the ones who get. Like I think everyone got an Arnold invite, which is awesome, and that's cool. But I think the 105s got like Clash invites and stuff.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
And then Open got like like the Magnus qualifier
OSG
invite
qualifier.
and got on the pro circuit and
Yeah,
stuff.
and you got OSG.
Yeah.
OSG. Yeah.
This
you
year
got-
again too, you get OSG.
Yep. So
Well,
You
didn't
get
the
OSG,
winner-
Arnold, and I correct me wrong, but I thought there was a Magnus qualification
Maybe.
for first in the open.
and a
First
fir-
in
and
the
a firm
open,
handshake.
Yeah.
first in the open last year got
And a sweet ass
an
plaque.
invite to Iceland. I thought.
Yeah, the
And the
Magnus.
second place got
Yeah.
the qualifier invites.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
first gets an automatic shot to the Magnus.
Yeah.
I think
in
that's what-
Iceland.
I think that's what it was. I
And you
don't-
get OSG, and you get Arnold, if I'm right.
The Arnold thing, I'm pretty sure about. Yeah.
I know you get OSG too. It's pretty crazy, actually.
These will be questions that Sam and Max will know the answer to.
And Sam and Max have done a great
We're
job.
organizing
of-
the competition. They know
Yeah.
the finer detail points of it.
Sam and Max done a great job with getting opportunities for people who win
Yeah.
nationals, even provincials. If you had
Right.
10 plus athletes, you got an Arnold invite. I think it was in the
Yeah.
provincial if you won.
Well, fuck.
Yeah.
Should have been more people. in
Which
there.
provinces? But which did any province
I don't
have?
think any provinces got that
We had a
even
huge
Sask
number of people.
Sask and Alberta did theirs together, and I don't think they had enough. So
Yeah, Ontario had a big number too, but
Yeah.
we had a good showing, so it's good.
that's the bonus about having somebody like Sam, having some people like Sam and Max who are like they have so much clout in the scene,
And they're so
is
well
that
connected.
yeah, like you and me could start
Yeah.
Strongman Corp Canada too. And have the same number of people signed up and the same whatever, but if we don't have those abilities to reach out to people and be like, "Hey, I want to do this," and then you have the immediate respect that a guy like Sam or a woman like Max,
Wow.
flip that around, a guy like don't even say anything. I'm just gonna move past it.
Yeah. Just keep moving.
a guy like Max or a woman like Sam, the clout that they have, they can pull strings and make calls, and people have a lot of respect for them, and they're gonna be able to make things happen that a regular guy like me and Devin wouldn't be able to necessarily make happen. We can
Is there
put
any
on the shows and do all that shit, but
Is there any comp in Canada on the pro side, if that would give you qualification to the Shaw Classic besides doing the online qualifiers? Is that the only way into the Shaw?
that's the only way right now.
And then you win the amateur and you get into the pro the next year.
I think it's something to that
how it
effect.
works, right?
Yeah. It's
That'd be a cool show
Something
to do.
like that.
It's a cool show, but man, it's the competition is fucking stiff for those. We had great representation with
yeah.
Canadian guys this year.
Yeah.
Because the Canadian guys are so awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you look at the pool that we pull from in Canada, like me and Dan probably have met almost every strongman competitor between the two of us in Western Canada. I would say, like, we're getting pretty close.
yeah,
I would
I think
think.
so,
Like,
yeah.
if you look at the list of names, I'm like, yeah, I've met almost all these people,
Well, population-wise, we're 10% of what U.S. is.
and that's what I mean. And you look at that list, like we were so overrepresented in terms of our population, or in terms of our strongman population. It's fucking awesome. You know,
and our
we had-
females. We have some of the top females in the world.
Yeah.
A couple of them are from
Yeah.
Canada, which is crazy for our population.
Yeah.
And we look at like last year there was a bunch of Canadian guys, and this year's a bunch of Canadian guys, and it's
It's exciting.
It's crazy because it's just like I've said before that like to be the best in Canada, to be the top 5 in Canada means that you're getting very close to that best in the world status too. Like I'm really hoping that World's Strongest Man will do the right thing and invite Simone Pratt to Worlds, because I don't
I hope
think
so,
that's
yeah.
like necessarily a guaranteed thing, but I think that they should look at that and be like, this guy's a fucking animal. He's insanely strong.
Yeah.
Canada's competition is so stiff right now that for him to win that is insane.
Yeah.
And I really hope that they give
I
him
think
the
there's
invite.
some politics at a higher level.
There is.
There's a guy like that Wesley Claiborne, I think his last name, stupidly, disgustingly strong, never gets an invite.
Yeah.
And who was he pressed for last? I watched I think over 400
He's got an
pound
insane
sandbag
press, yeah.
press, like just shit.
Yeah, he's insanely strong.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of it has, and you hear people say it a lot too, where World's Strongest Man is a TV show first and foremost, which is true. It's a competition second and a TV show first. That's why it's never left TV.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's not as profitable to put on the internet yet. So that's what they're doing, and that's what it's going to be, and we all got to kind of accept that, and that's why I think that Shaw is trying to do something a little different with calling his the strongest man on earth rather than the Shaw Classic, because I think he's trying to kind of over time create something that can because there's only one world's strongest man.
Yeah.
You can have every other competition that's heavier and pays more.
Yeah.
You know, like you can win the Rogue, you can win the Arnold, you can win the Shaw, but you've never been world's strongest man.
Yeah, and the kids at home only know.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you have the strongest man on earth, you can say, well, I'm the strongest man on earth. That same kind of credibility you would hope.
Yeah, because I think Shaw's trying to do more, sort of trying to phase out almost the Arnolds in a sense. They try to go against.
I kind of get that impression too. Yeah.
Well, after the Arnold with the vaccine or whatever the shit, I think that was kind of the.
Yeah, that's
Maybe a little bit of that, yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, there's nothing wrong with some healthy competition. There's nothing wrong
No.
with
good.
other people doing things. Like if I kind
In
of like the
any
idea
business,
of
competition's healthy. As
yeah,
much as
absolutely.
my competitors in my business, sometimes I hate them, but competition's healthy because it keeps you honest.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Question from well, I'll read the question first.
Yeah.
Is BFD dropping weight classes? Why is he looking smaller these days? From Patrick Gregg. Pat Gregoire.
I don't even think I need to justify that fucking answer. He's always looking up to me, and I'm not that tall.
Yeah. You
Fucking
well, I mean,
Danny
you
DeVito
know,
of
in all
Manitoba
fairness,
Because
Strongman.
Pat's 5'9" and 3/4.
No, he's not. He's 4'9" and 3/4,
That's funny.
and he's including his fucking hair.
Yeah.
He does
He's
have
got
great
nice,
hair.
yeah.
Yeah, he's nice hair.
Him
Him and Dan Sersky got some nice hair going on.
yeah, Dan Sersky, they'd be battling
Hope
out
the
for the
guys
best
do
hair in
well with his
Manitoba.
bicep tear there. I think he's hopefully see him back next year.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah.
He was he cut like besides him and say Corey, even Corey got to compete a little more though. But like, was there any other like major injury? We got away pretty
What
good.
happened with Blakely got injured? That's why he didn't.
But he never started this season though.
Didn't he get injured out in Alberta at the beginning of the year?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think that was unrelated.
Or was it?
what
That was
he
in-
had.
Was it in the gym?
Yeah, he's in the
He
gym.
was in the
I think.
gym. So we've had a pretty good season for people not getting hurt,
Yeah.
which I'm pretty happy with that. Like we avoided any like, bicep tear sucks, but we avoided any like real catastrophic injuries
Yeah.
at least.
Besides, Corey was the worst one we had it in comp.
And his wasn't even real. So.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
it was
fake
fake,
injury.
yeah.
So.
So that's
Fucking
fine.
Corey.
I love harping on that guy. Oh, he's such a good sport too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
young Daniel, now that we're getting towards sort of the end of this season, like I know being your coach what the plan is for the off season, but like when we start to wrap around again to next year, which it sounds like it could be as early as February, would be the start of the competitive season. Like, what do you want out of it? What are you hoping for? And I know the answer to this question, being his coach, but I want, this is for our listeners and our viewers at home. When you find yourself at sort of this precipice of, outgrowing sort of the beginning stages of the strongman scene and trying to find your place in the next one, like what are you going to do to make that happen?
What am I going to do to make it happen?
Yeah.
Just keep working. Just
Just
keep fucking working.
Do you think, like, do you see yourself being able to hang with those guys?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe so.
You believe so?
Yeah.
What do you feel like needs to be upped for that to happen, besides Trent?
I don't know what that
Now
is.
we're talking. Now we're talking.
I don't know what that is at all. I mean, keep working on the static strength. That'll have to come up, I think. I think my press is getting there. Deadlift's coming behind.
Mm-hmm.
My grip.
Yeah, your deadlift and your press are really well in comparison to any other open. You've got it one of the top 5% in the open amateurs. I'd say your top 5% in your press and your
There's a couple.
your deadlift.
There's a couple guys.
Is your squat comparable? Is that a lagging point in terms of a static lift?
We're working on it. We're
Yeah,
getting there.
it's coming there.
Squat's
It's
getting
coming.
better.
You just don't.
Because you're good at yoke, so your squats.
Yeah, my
It's
squat's
not
not bad. It's not
pretty
great, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say. But
We're getting to a point where we're going to be putting a little bit of an emphasis on the squat in the off season.
yeah, and I think that's all it is we don't put a huge emphasis on it, and now that we are, it's moving up, so that's not gonna be a problem for long.
Just a wild left turn here. On Saturday, I wrestled at the Burton Cummings Theater, and Devin didn't go. He said he was going to go, but he didn't go.
Well, Devin is a piece of
Tyler said he'd
shit.
get me tickets.
No, I
and
did not say
never,
that. I
never messaged
explicitly
me.
said that I would not be getting you
And I
tickets.
even told him I will pay for these tickets if you can get me tickets.
I said that they're on Ticketmaster, and I cannot get you tickets that way. That's just,
Yeah, pay for him like the rest of us.
Yeah.
Weird. I
Dan
literally
was there?
offered to
Fucking-
pay, and
Dan was there.
Yeah.
I never got an invite.
You know, they don't. The Burton Cummings doesn't send out too many invites to events that they're.
I mean, I got one, but
As the headliner, you think you'd invite? No, that's okay. It's okay. It's
I was the headliner. You're right.
yeah,
But it was
it was great.
Yep.
I think that a few of the people that watched the show were there, and it was awesome. It turned out really, really fucking well. We had about 1,000 people in attendance, which I think puts it's either 1 or 2 for like the biggest independent wrestling show in Manitoba history. There was one time they had one in like the early 2000s that was held at the baseball stadium, but that had like the Road Warriors at it and stuff, and they had like a bunch of
No shit.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
to have this show where the main event was me versus a guy from Oak Bluff, like to draw 1,000 people
Yeah.
is
What were ticket prices?
Ticketmaster throws on their bullshit, right? So I think it went from like they tried to charge less to make up for that.
Yeah.
So I think it was $35, and then it came to about 50 when it was
not bad,
all told with the tickets. They're really excuse me. The guys who put it on are like really about like the fan experience. They do it. This is like a side project for them, despite how much it's kind of with us with Strongman, where they put so much work into it. You'd be like, well, this must be your whole deal, but it's not. They have real lives and real jobs and wives and families and stuff, and they do this thing on the side. And it's grown from the first show. So in December it'll be 5 years. The first show that I did with them was at the Sherbrooke Hotel in their bar.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like just in, like,
Yeah.
It's
in
like
the
strongman at Teddy Bob.
yeah. So it was exactly just like
Yeah.
that, where it feels like the same deal where we're moving to the Minto Armory now
Yeah.
with this big show, and it started off in at the Sherbrooke, and it's grown to this thing where all of a sudden we're wrestling in front of 1,000 people, and they had pyro and they had lights and music and all this stuff, and it's just like it's a very rewarding thing where many times so they had obviously the big stadium seating or whatever you call it, like the theater seating.
Yep.
Where that was where the majority of the people sat, and then I think they had the ring was on the stage, and they had about 60 seats around the ring. And I got like face paint done for that, like Road Warrior style kind of face paint for the night for a little special occasion. And the woman who was doing it goes to all the shows locally, and she asked kind of what the setup was like, and I was like, yeah. She's like, I'm on stage, and I was like, oh yeah, there'll be about 60 people on stage, and she's like, oh yeah, like well, she's like, that's not bad. Like I've been to lots of shows where there's only 60 people there. And I was like, yeah, that's the normal for a lot of places is about 60 to 100 people. And then I said, well, there'll be the 60 of you there, and then there'll be 900 more people on the other side, which was kind of like a mind blowing thing. And I can tell you when I walked out and like you kind of hear that noise, and you hear your music is so loud there, and the everything is just like bigger and crazier and stuff. Like, I don't get nervous very often for wrestling anymore, but I was stressed. I was very stressed going into it, knowing that because me and Buddy were in the main event, and I knew that it was a show where everyone was going to bring their absolute A game, and everybody was going to try to steal the show in the best way possible.
Yep.
And we had to follow everybody else. So the weeks leading up to it, I'm also trying to gain weight for this competition in Cuba. So I'm thinking, well, I'm going to have to wrestle hard for 20 minutes.
Exhausted.
And I was like, I really hope that I can do it. Like, I hope that I can physically, because I've had moments in matches before when I was not in great shape, where I've been laying there on the mat, be like, I feel like I can't physically get up anymore. You know what I mean? And I just I cannot have that happen here. And literally all I did was I just went for walks at night, and that seemed to make enough of a difference that I didn't feel like I was super dead. And the match was very it was a good length, and it was very hard hitting, and it was like very impactful and stuff, and I felt like I was pretty okay by the end of it. And I wish that I meant to get Gian to send me the footage, but because Dan went with Gian, and
I got
Gian
that footage.
You have it
Of me?
like the audio.
Yeah.
So it's like my thought was, I was like, oh, you know, like, because like when Jan goes to the show with her friends, like they're going fucking nuts. They're shrieking and having a great time. They get some drinks beforehand. Dan doesn't really drink, so I was like, you know, I hope he doesn't sit there and just kind of be like, feel weird about the whole thing because he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then Jan shows me this video. She's like, listen to Dan, and he's just like screaming. He's like, you fucker, you curly-headed fuck, like I'll fucking kill you, and just like losing his fucking mind. And I was like, okay, so we did not have a hard time blending in with the crowd then, obviously.
Thank you for moving your mic away, by the way. That's very handy.
I've done this 31 episodes now. I know how to do that at least. But
That was a great time.
yeah, did you like that was your first time going to a wrestling show?
Yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah.
So what were your takeaways from?
Oh, it was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
I want to go to the next one.
Yeah. So the next one's at
I want to
the.
yell at that guy again.
You'll be there.
He's in my sights forever. Like, he doesn't know it, but we're enemies for life now.
Yeah. So they're
When is your next one?
December 1st at the West End Cultural Center. So that's sort of their home base.
Okay.
Is the WECC, and it's fucking awesome there. It's packed. Like they do about 300 people in there. They sell it out immediately. Like when they put out tickets, it sells out right away. If anybody's interested, if anybody who's kind of unplugged from the wrestling scene and who listens to this or watches this and wants to check out a show, contact me because I get a little bit of a guest list, so I can help people out with that. But
Wow, fuck me, right?
yeah, well,
Well,
hey,
not this guy.
Hey, Tyler, can you help me on tickets? No, I can't. You know I can't help you.
this is a different venue, as I just explained.
Devin, you're really not fucking listening to anything that's happening right now.
Because that's not the first show I've asked for tickets for. I was like, I will gladly come support
The
you. I will pay for it.
If you want to come in December, then I'll get you tickets.
December 1st?
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
Okay, well, that's a very non-committal answer,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but I'll go with it.
Let me check my schedule, but I don't see why not.
Okay.
I'm back from Florida. I come back from Florida.
Check your schedule
couple
and
days before
miss
that.
the next 5 minutes of the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While you're
Yeah,
doing
you should
that,
probably do
I'll
that.
catch up.
what are you doing in Florida?
Going to visit Mike.
Oh, really? Cool.
Pastor Mike, yeah.
So what? He's doing like he's running a business down there, right?
Yeah, he bought a franchise, yeah.
You guys gonna
I'm going to go up to work with him for a
go
couple
gator
days.
hunting or what are you guys into?
Well, he sent me a picture of a gator today right by his place.
Really?
Yeah. A couple
Man,
hours ago. Dad,
I-
check this out. It's this massive gator in the grass. Oh, whatever.
I saw a video of some dude who's like, have you seen this where he like traps the gator in like the rolling garbage can?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that video is insane because he's
Yeah.
just like, there's like a fucking giant alligator on his driveway, and he has exactly the kind of garbage cans that we have here in Manitoba, where he's trying to like trap him in that, and then he does, and he picks him up and he closes the top. He's like, oh, I got him. And then he just wheels him 10 feet across the yard, across the street, where there's a giant fucking swamp, and that's where he just dumps it. I'm like, well, he'll be back. Like, that's just, like it's not.
Yeah, that's-
I thought this was like a crazy thing that like they saw this alligator and this guy trapped it. I'm like, he probably traps that thing every fucking day. Like that's.
I had a
just-
buddy kill an alligator with a piece of rebar.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if you ever met Rick. My buddy Rick Neufeld. He was one of my pastor buddies. You would have met him at Deadlift for Dreams.
Okay.
He was a missionary in Africa for 10 years. He was 10 years. And they had kids that had crossed over before there was a bridge to get to school. And if I'm correct, they lost a couple of kids over time to alligators. And he ended up trapping this alligator in a cave, and he had to slide his belly in there, and he killed it with a piece of rebar.
Jesus Christ. could not be me, I'll tell you that right now.
Just doing the Lord's work.
Doing the Lord's work, man, yeah. Yeah.
Man, that's
insane.
not something that I can catch myself doing. That's
No,
for sure.
no, me neither. Better man than me.
Yeah, well, it's, and like the notion of like even like there was like two guys on the show this weekend who were from Australia, and I was just sort of chatting with them about that, whatever. And I was like,
Fighting kangaroos.
well, I was like, I would never go to Australia. I've said that before. I would never go there. First of all, I find the people to be very annoying. But second of all, I think that that's the truth. I hate their accents. The second thing though is that I hate the idea of like snakes and spiders and
They're
and
huge
whatever
out
else.
there.
And they're just things that people just deal with there.
Yep.
And I said that I was like, oh yeah, I wouldn't be able to handle like the wild animals and shit. And they're like, oh no, you're in the city, you never see them. And I was like, what about snakes? He's like, well, you just like snakes for sure, but like, and I was like, what about like the really big spiders? He's like, no, not very often. And I was like, but you do sometimes see
When
them.
it happens,
Yeah.
is
And I was
my
like,
concern.
that's enough for me to never want to go there.
No.
I've never been interested in going.
That's
there.
Mike goes, Florida's so great. I'm like, yeah, but we don't have crocodiles and hurricanes and a shit ton of tornadoes. I kind of like it up here. Yeah, it's a little colder.
Florida's great at Disney World.
Yeah.
I would love to go there and spend a week at Disney World.
I have no desire to go to Florida.
No,
You go Disney World?
for sure. I love Disney World. I went there. What is going on right now? What are you doing?
No comment.
It's an off-air conversation.
Okay.
It almost goes to the Ben and Jerry's thing.
Oh, I see. Okay. No, Disney World. Me and Jen are gonna try to make a trip to go there with a childless trip to Disney World would be great. I think.
Childless trip. I'm doing a childless trip to Florida for 17 days.
You're going for 17 days.
Kids are staying home. Yeah, we're driving.
You and D?
Yeah, we're gonna go catch Aaron Lewis concert on the way down in
Not
St.
familiar.
Louis. And
Who the
you don't know
fuck
who
is
Aaron
that?
Lewis is?
No. Who is
Remember the
it?
band Stained?
Yeah.
Yeah, lead singer there.
Oh,
Yeah, it's been on my bucket list to see for 10 years.
Oh, I remember you mentioned that
Yeah,
before.
so
Actually.
we're gonna go. I bought tickets for that. Go
Where's
down
that?
there.
St. Louis?
Yeah. So we're gonna leave Thursday night. Get there. It's 15 hours. St. Louis. We'll get there Friday night.
You know what's a great thing about St. Louis too is all of their stuff that's like educational. So museums, zoos, all that shit. It's all free.
Shit, I didn't know that.
So you can go check that out for free.
That's
if you
pretty
want.
crazy.
Yeah. That was when I was going there for wrestling. I was like, "What's the cheap stuff to do here?" Because you're always traveling
Yeah.
on a shoestring budget. And he was like, "Actually, everything's pretty much free that you want to check out." And I was like, "Oh, that's great." So we went to the zoo, and yeah,
That's pretty cool.
St. Louis is actually a really great place too. Like for nightlife and restaurants, and there'll be a place where it's like, oh, this is the taco and video game restaurant, or you know what I mean? Like it's just like weird gimmicks and everything, and it's just like
Taco
no,
video
for
games.
real. I'm serious. It's all arcade machines and they sell tacos. That's what it'll be, and they probably last for a year, and then something else comes in there.
Yeah.
but it's fun when it's there,
It's like a nightclub. They just rotate through.
Yeah, I imagine it's probably a lot like that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
But after that match, man, so my role in this company is might be hard for you to imagine, but I'm a little bit of a bully. So it's I kind of come in and just sort of fuck shit up and fuck people up, and then this was the big show where someone finally steps to me and tries to make me eat my own words, and so that meant a lot more of a match than what I normally have.
Oh,
Which meant
okay.
a lot more like falling and hitting the fucking mat, and holy shit, dude, like. Gian wanted to go to the bar afterwards, and I was like, yeah, for sure. Like, I'll for sure when I get some drinks after this, I'll be all fired up and ready to go.
Yeah.
Because I used to be.
Yeah.
After wrestling, that was like the thing I looked forward to most was getting together with all the guys afterwards and going and getting drinks and stuff. And then Gian was like, yeah, Matt Bartalia. And I was like, Bartalia, official sponsor of Strongman Corp Nationals, by the way.
After party.
After party of Bartalia on Saturday. I went there and I stood there. I got a can of Pepsi and I finished it, and I was there for about 7 or 8 minutes. And I was like, I have to leave. Like, I can't be here anymore.
Just beat up.
Yeah, and I woke up the next day feeling this combination of like hungover, just because I was just dehydrated. You know what I mean? And I felt like I had competed, like I was just beat to shit. And it just made me realize that I was like, man, like you really do acclimate to this. Like when I was doing like tours and stuff, I did this every fucking night for a month. And I couldn't even imagine doing that again the next day. Like I had to calling sick to work. Like I planned on going to the gym and coaching people the next day.
Yeah.
And I had to call people and be like, I'm sorry, I just cannot make it in today. Like, I'm
can't get
fucking
out of bed.
fried, man. Like, I tried. Literally, I was like, I needed Gian to push me to roll me out of bed. It just was not gonna happen.
Just getting old.
I mean, well, that's what Zach said. Zach's like, maybe you should stop doing this. And I was like, yeah, probably. Like, probably should have stopped a long time ago, honestly. The 30-plus-year-old body does not respond well to falling hard.
I
onto
wouldn't
that.
know.
Yeah, no, trust me,
wouldn't know.
it's extremely unpleasant.
Very young.
Yeah, you're
It's also a shorter range of motion for me and you to fall than him.
That's true. For me, it's like falling from
I
a
suppose.
second-story building for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah, you guys. If you guys were at my height and you fell, you'd feel like you were just like never gonna land.
And you got to think he's
when do I
very
hit the
top heavy
ground?
with the eagle, so he hits harder. He's got
That's
more
right.
momentum coming
That
down.
actually, so that is something that I noticed that I was like, okay, I noticed that I was like, I'm really bad at like, because when I wrestled regularly, it was before COVID.
Yeah.
And probably, 20 pounds ago, 25 pounds ago. And I really am bad at manipulating myself in the air now, where I always land fucking weird. Like, you want to land with like a nice flat back, like same way you do with like jiu-jitsu or anything else, right? Or judo,
yeah,
where you kind of do like the break fall thing. And I just couldn't, like, every time that I fell, I was just like, oh god, like I just like landed like and I'd watch the videos back, and I'm like, it looks flat.
But are you tensing up a little more too as you get older? Like when you fall, are you not falling as smoothly?
That's entirely possible. Yeah, I would say that. I was talking to my friend afterwards, and I was like, I just feel like I can't rotate the same way. Like I have an idea of how my body works from burned into my brain from when I was 20 to 30 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
And now that I'm trying to do it, I'm just like, oh god, like it was just every fucking fall that I took, it just felt like I was falling. It felt like I was falling from a lot higher than I was, and it felt like I landed like, like crooked sideways. And I'd watch the clip, and I was like, it looks fine, but it just like
just hurts.
It hurt like a bitch, man. It was very, very unpleasant. And the guy in my match, so there's the ring, there's the stage, and then there's like the pit, like the floor where all the seats are, right? And so I was standing in the pit, and he jumped from the apron down to me. This will be on Winnipeg Pro Wrestling's YouTube page eventually, and it was a fucking huge jump. Like it was really,
impressive on its own.
Yes,
yeah,
and it was made all the more impressive by the fact that like normally when someone kind of jumps at you, it hurts everybody involved. But like I would kind of like, his impact is absorbed by me catching him, or like his body hitting me, right?
Yeah.
So it hurts me like a fucking bitch. And for him, it's not so bad. But for this one, it was like he hit me and he kind of just bounced off and just hit the fucking floor. And so it was barely less than just jumping from the apron to the floor, basically. Because I watched the clip afterwards and he hit me. And like I said, normally everyone kind of falls together, and the guy who's being jumped on takes the vast brunt of it. And this one, it hurt me a lot, and then it hurt him, I think, just as much. Because
I didn't get a great view of the aftermath of that.
Yeah.
Like, saw the jump and everything, but then everybody stood up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm only 5'10", so I couldn't see past a lot of people.
I watched the clip, and I could feel
and Jan's on your shoulders trying to see herself.
yeah.
I could see it after, or I could feel what was happening, but I watched afterwards. And some dude was like I was on the ground, like, ow, fuck, that hurt. And the guy's like pushing me with his foot away from him. I'm like, can you give me a fucking second here, please? Like,
wow.
I was like, why are you doing that?
Fucking loser.
He liked the other guy more.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. There was because I am something of a disliked character in that world. So it's fun to do that and get all my sillies out. Mm-hmm. Say everything that I want to say to people that I wouldn't necessarily be able to say as a gym owner or as
you can say them all there.
Yeah. Get a lot of.
I didn't mean it. It was actually just in my role.
This is all bullshit, right? So it couldn't be real.
Yeah.
So as we're kind of getting to the tail end here, let's chat a little bit about what we got going on with the national stuff. We're pretty much now that like this wrestling thing was taking up this big show here was taking up a lot of my thought. Now we're only like 11 days away.
Yeah.
Woohoo! That's fucking crazy. That's
11 days.
Is that all right?
I don't know.
Yep.
Right? Until the 20th?
Friday, yep.
Today's the 9th.
Yeah, it's 11 days away.
Is that right?
Yep. For strongest woman in Canada.
Thank you.
12 days.
Strongest woman in Canada. So that begins mine and Devin's weekend, and then Dan jumps in on the next day with nationals, and then luckily Sunday will be a nice little dessert, if you will, to the weekend.
Clean that whole place up.
Yeah, we got a lot of cleaning to do after that, but we're really looking forward to it. I think that we're also really looking forward to it being over. At least I'm speaking for myself. I'm sure Devin has a similar sentiment to it.
I'm past it.
Yeah.
I'm past it.
Devin,
I think the politics are exhausting me more than anything.
The politics are exhausting. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that maybe not everyone knows about, and that we're not going to go too much into. But just know,
I was going to say, well, elaborate greatly.
No, I will not do that.
Oh,
but
well,
you're
all right.
But you're
we
strong.
can't let Devin
All right.
run that path
just know,
on
just
public radio.
Just know that your strongman reps are. The work never stops.
Yeah.
The stress never stops. The headaches never stop. And we do it because, God damn it, do we love the sport and do we love the people in it.
It's more just for me, I'm exhausted from it just runs through my head all day long. Like all this stuff we need to do.
Yes.
The equipment, still not finished being made yet.
Right.
And that's supposed to be done tomorrow. And that's got to get the powder coat. And then it's got to get all loaded on the pallets. And then it's got to get to the venue. The flooring's got to get to the venue. the tables and chair rentals got to get to the venue. The plates got to get to the venue. And then with this whole, you can't deadlift indoors. So you got to move all that shit outside for one
Right.
event and move it all back in
Right.
efficiently because I want this comp run efficient.
Right.
Just
you
move
got-
everything outside.
That's, I was looking at the 14 day. I don't even know what it's looking like that day, but
That would be
shit.
funny if we just said that. Actually, the whole thing's outside now, just in a field somewhere.
I wouldn't even care.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
I wouldn't
Do it
care.
in my- do it in my- do it in my yard.
It wouldn't bother the real competitors.
Yeah.
It would bother some other ones, though.
Gotta have that dog in you. You know?
might be a frozen dog.
Yeah, it's something. But we're excited. I think a combination of stressed, excited, nervous, and ready for it to be fucking over.
Yeah.
Was that how you describe it?
Yeah.
That's pretty much the bundle of emotions that I would say that I have.
I feel the same, and I'm competing. Not
Well, that's kind of what I
organizing.
wanted. Yeah, that's kind of what I want to ask you too. Is that like just like what do you like?
I'm going to check the 14 day forecast. Keep it.
There must be a feeling of like, just like let's fucking do this already, right? Because this
Yeah,
has been such a long
definitely.
season for you, right?
Yeah.
Like the season started in March for you,
Yeah.
and we knew that this was going to be coming. So you're looking to this the whole time, and this is a very important show for you.
Yeah.
So it's not one where you can be like, oh, you know, that's something I'll think about later. It's like something that's been on your mind pretty much the whole season. I would
Oh
think.
yeah, definitely.
So it must be kind of like when you're getting to this point, just be like, let's fucking do it. Like,
I'm looking forward to that off season and just nothing to worry about, just doing the work and
yeah, it's a very relieving thing, especially like when if you don't feel like you've really like if your off season isn't like of an appealing break to you. Yeah, you might not have gone hard enough in the season. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you should be looking for as much, and then once you're in the off season for a few weeks, you'll be like, I'm ready for that next fucking
Oh, yeah.
maybe a little longer than a few weeks, maybe a month or so.
Yeah,
but you'll
maybe.
start thinking, I really can't wait for that next season to start. You should always be kind of thinking about like when the comps are happening, they should be hard enough, and you should be going hard enough that you're almost like, I need a fucking break, and I whatever. Like, you know, obviously we love doing this, but just there's always gonna be that part of it. And then when you're in the off season, you should be like, I can't wait to fucking compete again, you know, because that's how you know that you're doing something you like to do. Was there anything else, D, that you want to touch on while we're here today?
No, I think we covered it all.
Covered everything. Choking on dicks, wrestling,
Yep.
the combination of the two,
yeah.
whatever that means.
Yeah.
all right. Well,
Daniel,
well,
anything that you want to touch on before we leave? Anything?
no,
No. Okay.
not that I can think of.
Okay.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no. It's always a pleasure to have. It was going to be just me and Devin, and that would have been fucking terrible. So
That would have been shitty.
so we're not going to do that.
I wouldn't have, actually probably wouldn't have tuned in if that was the case.
You got something there?
We got one last fan related question here that was submitted directly to me. How much does Dan charge for mustache rides?
Oh,
Oh.
that's,
Great question.
Well,
The viewers want to know.
right now we're about $250.
Dan's done a lot of
That's
pro bono work.
$250.
$2.50.
No,
yeah.
the decimal
no,
is.
I thought he meant the weight of the woman.
A strong man does what a
that's
strong
what I
man
figured,
does.
The most that he can handle right now is
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
$250. Dan's done a lot of pro bono work in that category for a long, long time, and now it's finally time for
Yeah.
him to make some
He's
money
done
off
a
of it.
ton
So
of
that's
I got to
pro
cash
bono
in
work.
on this.
Yeah.
really fast before we go.
Did you say pro boner?
Really fast before we go. What was your deadlift at before you started working at Iron Age?
I think 560,
What's it at right now?
730.
What was your log before you started at Iron Age?
First time I did log, 230.
What is it at right
Is
now?
Iron Age paying us for this promotion?
They kind of
Okay, let's check.
I had 335 this year.
335 this year.
And I
Interesting.
think next time I max my log, it'll be above that.
Interesting.
Weird.
Interesting.
Yeah, tomorrow, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's going to go back right now.
Well, that's all I want to say. That's
Yeah.
that's all I really want to get out there.
Yeah.
You know, there's you fill in your own blanks as to why that would matter. Okay,
be
so
me. That's what it means.
yeah, just be like Dan.
Clearly, 250-pound mustache rides.
Okay, so thank you to BFD Dan Cadger for stepping in. Best of luck to you at Nationals. I know that the gym and I think that the province as a whole is really excited to watch you compete, and we're really excited to see the next Great White Hope when it comes to the
The
pro
great
circuit- the pro
Métis
circuit.
Hope.
The great
Wow, yeah.
Oh,
the great halfway
Right
hope, whatever.
right after his holiday.
yeah. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. The Métis fucking monster over here. We're gonna be watching very carefully, and we're all really excited to see you compete on Saturday, next whenever that is. And so we got. Please follow Strong and Petty.
Yep.
Follow Manitoba Strongman. Get your tickets to Strongest Woman in Canada. I really can't I want to really make sure that those women are gonna do some crazy shit that day. Those women from Manitoba who are competing who they would love to hear that hometown crowd.
Yeah.
And really, it's a very rare opportunity. Strongest Women in Canada will not be back in Manitoba
For probably 8 to 10 years.
I would say about 8 to 10 years. So.
Yeah. And you're going to see women lifting more than lots of the weight class athletes.
Yes, you will. Yes, you certainly will.
Absolutely.
So when you are thinking about something to bring your kids to, the people who could be influenced and like positively influenced by seeing maybe some strong women doing some really impressive shit.
Yeah.
Women of all different body shapes and body sizes. I don't mean to make this like a whatever thing, but it really is an amazing thing that could do.
In a society as climate is right now, and body image and this and that and being comfortable in your skin, come watch these women show you what they can do. It's unreal.
There's some freakishly strong people that are going to do some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And on Saturday, it's going to be much of the same. Men and women who are going to just do shit that's going to blow your fucking mind. And then on Sunday, it's a nice kind of like a little bit more of like a relaxed event. It's going to be a shorter day. We're going to see some big deadlifts. We're going to see some big log, and we're going and we're going to see some heavy sandbags thrown. And it's going to be just like an awesome weekend that I really hope that everyone can come down and hang out for. With that, thank you for goodbye.